Hello everybody, it's Tim here again to another movie review, this time for the movie The Watchers. And from 1 to 4, this sucked. This would be a 0 out of 4. And yes, I'm doing this outside in the middle of the night. Sorry about the lighting, but that's the best I can do right now. But yeah, this film sucked. Easily a 0 out of 4. This is directed by M. Night Shyamalan's daughter. I believe it's even based off a short story. And you can really tell it's based off a short story because there's really not enough here for a feature-length movie. This really would have worked better as just like a random episode of a horror series. The movie does feel stretched out. It's pretty much about Dakota Fanning, who is like delivering a bird to somebody or whatever, and gets caught in the woods because she randomly walks up in the woods like a moron, and then she sees this old chick like waving at her or whatever, saying inside, inside, and so she just automatically follows her and goes in there. Like, why would you do that? Like, most people, if you walk into the woods and they just saw some weird old lady or something waving at them like this way, this way, I think most people would probably turn around and go the other way. Granted, she probably would have gotten killed by the creatures in the woods, but still, I don't think most people would have went in. But she gets in there, and basically it's a two-way mirror or whatever, and you've probably seen this in the trailers. There's creatures on the other side that just want the people to just basically like stand there so they can observe them. And there's like four people: a black chick, this old woman or whatever, who I believe was also in Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the newest one, as the older version of Sally. She's actually a good actress. She keeps winding up in like these schlock movies. Granted, I did like the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre because I thought it was like dumb fun. It's just a basic Leatherface slasher. On the level of the original, no, none of the other films are. But yeah, and then there's this like English dude or whatever, and then there's this black chick as well. And she had a husband or whatever that we saw at the beginning of the movie, like running through the woods, and he got killed. He was trying to escape. And basically, the woods are kind of like enchanted. So when Dakota Fanning tries to like run away eventually to like explore the woods or whatever, they basically got it to where they mess with your mind and you're like in a circle and you can't really get away. Um, Spider web on me. Sorry about that. I've been walking outside, but um, the creatures basically just watch or whatever on the other side of the mirror, and you would probably start to wonder, like, is there really even anything there? And that's kind of what Dakota Fanning starts to wonder, and she eventually like goes to like this hole in the ground where they believe the creatures actually come from, and she goes down in there and like steals a bicycle and all that, thinks about like riding it out of there and everything so she could go faster and everything. But the old lady's like, no, we can't do that. That's against the rules. And they never asked the old chick like how she knows all these rules because she was supposed to have been the first one there. Spoiler alert, at the end of the movie you find out that she's actually a creature herself, a half human, half hybrid fairy creature, and they're all like these fairy creatures who are also called changelings. And the reason they're watching all these people and kidnapping them in the woods is so they can learn to mimic them to be human, which is kind of stupid because they have like DVDs there. They could easily just watch and copy like human behavior from that. Like, you don't need these people. It doesn't make any sense. But they're trying to like study them in order to become human to copy them, and they've been doing it for months. Like, how freaking long does it take to accomplish this? But one thing leads to another, and they find out that there's a freaking trap door like underneath like a hatch or whatever underneath the table, which also again makes you wonder, these people have been here for months and they never explored the room to discover that there was a friggin' way out. It's also stupid. So they go through the way out, and the creatures like break in because they know they've been breaking the rules. The creatures break in, and when you do get to see the creatures, actual design of them it's all right. It is CG, but it's all right in terms of the design. Just kind of tall and lanky, like Slenderman wannabes or whatever. But they're taking off. You find there's an underground lab, and there's actually a professor there who was studying the creatures. And the old lady's form or whatever is based upon the professor's dead wife that he got her to like transform into because he was trying to bring his wife like basically back to life. Um, and the professor like tried to shoot the creature, but also shot himself, and he got killed in the process, basically. Um, and they're trying to escape. They got to make it out to the water, which the creatures cannot swim. They can't leave the forest basically because it's enchanted, which that makes me wonder, well, why are they trying to learn to be human if they can't leave the friggin' forest anyway? Like, that doesn't make any sense. So they're escaping on the water on this boat, and they're getting away, and then they do get away. But the English sounding guy or whatever, he gets killed because he thinks the dude from the beginning of the movie who got killed at the beginning is actually still alive in the woods and needs help. And he's so stupid, he like goes up to him and tries to drag him out. But presto, it's a changeling fairy creature who like slits his throat, and you don't see anything because this is like very light PG-13. Um, and he just dies like a complete moron. And then the rest of them, and including the bird, just travel in the boat until they reach civilization. But yeah, and then they get out of there, and then we get like another like what felt like 15, almost 20 minutes of just them back in civilization or whatever. And then she discovers that the old chick was actually the professor's wife, who was deceased. Dakota Fanning discovers this, and then the old chick like shows up there or whatever in disguise. Actually, it's the black girl at first, and she talks about how she's a she finally was able to escape there. She thought she was going to be there forever as a prisoner, just like them. And she's like trying to kill Dakota Fanning after she knocks the real black chick out. And you also know that through backstory, that Dakota Fanning's sister or whatever, or her mother, I believe, either her sister or mother one was like killed in an accident or something, or you think she was killed, but then you find out, I believe, at the end that she was actually just disfigured, and she actually reunites with her at the end. And I believe it's Dakota Fanning in both parts. She's just got some makeup on, a different hairstyle to make her look like she was in an accident. That's supposed to be like her character arc of coming back together and healing over what happened to her sister. By the end, she's become a stronger person, I suppose is what they're trying to say. But she's in the fight with the changeling creature, and she's like, "But you are also half human. That's why you can walk in the daylight, unlike the others." And she's like, "No, you're lying." And then she's like, Dakota Fanning's like, "Yes, it is true." And then she goes, and just flies off, basically, and that's pretty much it. And then for some random reason, Dakota Fanning's like talking about, I still think that she's watching me from time to time when I see a human that's a little off, kind of like a little girl or whatever. And then the camera like pans to out the window or whatever as Dakota Fanning's like talking to her sister, and you see the little girl out there or whatever, and she turns around and looks at the camera, and her eyes like turn gray or whatever, or white, like the fairy creatures. And so she is still watching Dakota Fanning. Why? I don't know. It doesn't really make any sense. But yeah, overall, this is 0 out of 4. This sucked. This was really bad and completely forgettable. This movie will completely go in one ear and out the other. In another day, maybe 2, I'll forget this existed. This was bad. It definitely feels like the daughter is really trying to copy her father's style. Granted, she is his daughter, so maybe she's inspired by him and all that. But at the same time, though, even in the way some of the actors act and make dumb decisions, feels like some of the poor bad M. Night Shyamalan's. And M. Night Shyamalan has kind of rebounded. He's done some better stuff like lately that's kind of made him, that's kind of redeemed him a little, or somewhat, at least on my radar. Like, I like The Glass. I know it was divisive for people, but I like The Glass, and I didn't mind The Visit. I like that one. And even Old, I thought was like all right, even though that one also felt like an extended short film. But yeah, he's gotten better. This sucked. This is bad. This is pretty close to as bad as like some of his worst films, and even definitely feels like someone related to him trying to copy him, or just somebody trying to copy him in general, even down to some way that some of the characters behave, which is utterly stupid. Yeah, it's a 0. The acting is fine. It's average. There's maybe 1 or 2 like okay, slightly off moments, but the actors really feel fresh-faced, some of them. So overall, the acting is fine. As a movie, again, it's a 0 out of 4. This sucked. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you again.